How great are the inequalities of the wealth in the Philippines today? The Philippines today is characterized by extreme inequality of wealth, which is stringent. The very minority, 1%, owns almost a quarter of the country's wealth. The top 10% own more than 3/4 of it. This leaves the rest of 90% Filipinos to own less than 1/4 of the country's wealth. Proof that an extensive gap between the wealth and everyone else, the majority of the Filipinos have the modest wealth at best, which, with the average adult holding perhaps 1,300, well below the national value of 14,000, fueled by the gargantuan amounts of the money extremely wealthy have, such as the different reflex of the nation, which means the potential are anything but evenly distributed, owning an historical legacies, limited access to school, and the structural issues. The wealth concentration in the hands of few is more than a number. It is lived experience for a million. The elite put order linked to influential family that give cruise control the economic tyranny, while the masses barely manage to amass even a fraction of the achievement. This expropriate distribution leaves riches out of the rich for most Filipinos and leave most below national men as a result of the sheer dominance of the rich. A number of contribution factors make this imbalance so big. One of the most important among these is the past tendency of land concentration, which was passed down for the Spanish colonial era when large areas of the land were given to a limited number of families. These lands have stayed in the hands of the limited few and have been basis for the wealth accumulation that yields income and economic benefits generation after generation. While access to good education is deciding factors to end in a cycle of poverty, it is not within the reach of the poor. Poor urban and rural people do not have school facilities and higher education associated with expenses that others cannot bear, so they are restricted to low-income jobs or the black economy. For government actions to bridge the gap being partially successful, conditional cash transfer, for example, provide temporary relief to every poor, but they do not eliminate the built-in obstacles that prevent wealth from filtering down to the masses. The tax system, in theory, is a progressive but loophole that lax enforcement renders ineffective, enabling the rich to hide their wealth. Political dynasty and corruption contribute to further widening of the gap because powerful families use the influence of the mass world to meet themselves in power. Added to this, reliance on remittance from the foreign migrant workers and gigantic underground economy where job security and benefit the non-existence of the road becoming rich becomes increasingly diminished from the first Philippines. This degree of income inequity is not just an economic concern but a social and political one that stifles the mobility of the generate resentment. Most Filipinos are condemned to live within an institution its which riches appear to be gathered or preferred group and individual sabotaging in the dream of exclusive growth. The charms are not only wide, they are deep, entrenched, and based on history, the current situation of the country make it his chance that will be radical structural changes to build.
What laws does Carnegie Pillar at Work Society to help produce great wealth? The law of competition, but he mentioned other branches or variation of it, such as the law of accumulation, the laws of distribution, and individualism. What is the law of competition? Is it still at work today, or is it a law? The law of competition is not a law in the sense that it's a rule a country or government has set in place to direct the action of people. Carnegie believed that the law of competition is a natural part of humanity, stemmed from human inherent instinct for individualism, or the concept of private property. As he would put it, is a law, asserting that any of the other slaves, that man possessed of this peculiar talent for affair, under the free play of economic forces, must of necessity soon be in receipt of more revenue than can be judiciously expended upon themselves. It is a law in the sense that it is provisioned in a fundamental principle governing our society. The law of competition did not emerge due to human ingenuity or that greedy capitalists wanted to hoard wealth, but rather the consequence of human individualism. Carnegie mentioned that One who studies this subject will soon be brought face to face with the conclusion that upon the sameness of property, civilization itself depends. The right of the laborer to his $100 in the savings bank and equally the legal right of the millionaire to his millions, preparing to the role of individualism played in shaping what's known as law of competition today. If the law of competition is the product of human instinct, that is individualism, then the question whether it is still at work today has already been answered. To further support this, take for example job hunt. Job seekers compete for each other to obtain a spot in a job position. They are not randomly selected by chance, although those who have the desire to be better and compete often accumulate wealth through the law of competition. That is not always the case. There are often systematic barriers that prevent one from participating in it. For instance, generational debt, oppressed country, lack of access to physiological or inadequate access to education. These are just some examples of where the law of competition tramples over disadvantaged individuals and makes it even harder for them to uplift themselves. It is heartbreaking to see that some individuals have the innate disadvantages in life they did not choose to have, such as the reality of competition. That's why Carnegie suggested that instead of honest living, he advocated to alleviate systematic barriers through philanthropy. Is conformity an important issue for Carnegie? Is he for or against it? Conformity is an issue for Carnegie. He believed that interface with the natural forces governing the law of competition. One major event that highlights his note for conformity and anti-labor union rules was the Home Strike of 1892. During his vacation in Scotland in 1982, Carnegie implemented wage cuts to his workers beforehand. Knowing the workers would revolt against him, he hired detectives in advance to take care of it. He also contacted his partner to handle the revolution with violence. Several died and many were injured during the deadly clash between his workers and the detectives. This event illustrates Carnegie's stance on conformity, if again, activity violate the law of competition and individual responsibility.